자, 이제 흑형. 올해 흑형이 디종에서 쌀은 저번에 했으니까 흑형 꿀 갈까? 좋았어. 흑형 꿀 빨아먹는 거 갑시다. 이렇게 디종에서 제네바 같은데 제네바 협상 줘야겠다. 그 제네바 설민석 나와야 되나? 흑형 꿀입니다. 꿀 빨아먹는 우리 흑형. 자, 여기서 일거리 받아가네요. 아, 라디오에 진짜 알이 없는 거 아니야?
I do remember seeing a boy going out and he had a knife in his sock, you know, like you watch it. And I said, oh, you can't go out like that, Matt. If you do go, you won't be able to stay here. And he went flying up the stairs. He was furious because I told him. And the next thing he came flying down, I thought, oh, this is it. I'm going to. And he just only the door and said, no, it's all right. I won't take it all.
What's really interesting there is he charged him and was leaving here with a knife. I would have thought that lad would have flown off to do what he wanted to do and never come back. But he flies back upstairs to the throne. That must, in a strange way, for all the stress and the tension and the fear you must have suffering, you must have known in that moment that whatever it is you're doing here really works.
The voice will be boisterous, but usually we just diffuse it.
How do you make sure that what's out there?
인어 아줌마요? 유럽의 인어 아줌마 꿀 빨아먹는 그런 거. 이게 유럽의 이건가? 이 사람이 뭔가 유럽 안산교 아줌마? 오늘 안산교잖아. 흑형 벌. 오, 진짜 씨. 야, 이거? 이만큼 갔는데 와서 쳐갖고 내가 벌금 내냐. 와, 내려봐, 너. 내려봐. 내 꿀 밟아. 꿀 먹은 벙어리로 만들었을까, 이게. 안 내려?
Oh, yes, there is. Because these lads, they've never had anything of value, really.
뭐야, 이거 쌍라이트
So they
켰는데?
don't value what we have either. So
너 먼저
there's
봐봐.
nothing, to steal.
너 먼저 봐봐.
We just try to tell them
봐봐.
a
너 먼저
different
봐봐.
story. Terry brought me a lovely pink diamond amethyst bracelet, didn't you? And
Oh,
it was so
yeah,
beautiful I wouldn't wear it, and I had it in the bedroom, and they used to say to Vale, this granddaughter, when you're 18, give this to you. But it had gone before then, hadn't it? And it was one of the boys who, although very decent,
야, 이 꿀 먹은 벙어리야.
was on heroin, and that's how I came to lose my bracelet. Because
And yet you still trust?
you have to trust, because how will they trust us if we don't
야, 이러고
trust them?
화내.
So what's more valuable, that person's
형
life
화내.
which goes on, or the fact that you've lost it?
서울에 또 태권도 차량 안 보여.
Hey, your big handsome son here, Glenn. I believe you've got another son involved in a similar sort of
Yes,
project.
that's Greg, yes, and he runs this community.
손해보더라도 화내. 진짜 씨.
Pop down and see him.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll come back and I'll make pudding and lunch will be served. Don't leave me putting us through that in my tagine. So, on Anne's advice, I've popped around the corner just a couple of miles away from the family home, here to meet the other son.
제네바로 협정을 맺으러 갑시다.
United States of
어쨌든 2차 세계대전 종식할 때 그 협약을 맺었던
Alright, lads.
제네바 협정.
It's quite high level activity this place. People coming and going.
여기서 우리나라가 38선에 갈라지고 있는
No, I
거예요.
actually look at the size here. You must have been on the mission here then.
Yeah.
So tell me about this. It's beautifully
Oh,
understated
shit, break
for
잠깐만.
the United States of Windsor.
확 날렸네.
The clues in the title. United States, the 42 states,
켜. 아, 이거 식었어.
Do you want to show us round?
갈 거야.
Walk this way.
This is a pretty packed gym, a proper gym. It's not a
Oh,
boxing gym. It's not a boxing gym.
The bit of boxing.
이거
As you can see,
뭐 방금 피칭 타고
just
그래.
fits beautifully with the short, country with the short. You can catch your way in the gym in there. So we've got the dance studio.
I mean, it's difficult to explain, but this is
안 나가나? 10,000유로씩 나가.
When you walked in, did you say this is really important? Did you see a gym or a church?
That's very interesting. And also just behind you there is a full-length punch bag. I suppose this epitomises everything that you're doing. Let's have a look. Now, I lived in Manchester back in the 90s and through that decade. And Wythenshawe didn't have as bad a reputation as Moss Side, for example. But tell me what Wythenshawe's like. What's this?
I think Wythenshawe's deceptive because it was built as a garden city, so you drive around, especially when the sun's shining as it is today. There's lots of greenery, and it looks pleasant, but it hides a lot of absolute utter neglect. So, for example, only 10 years ago, maybe slightly longer, that Denchill where we are now, this is the middle of Denchill, was classed as the most deprived council estate in the country. And it's awful to say, but we've got families that produce children, that produce families that produce children, that all they can look forward to is meaningless, almost soul-destroying jobs. I joke, if you go into an employment agency in Wythenshawe, you get a job stacking shelf. It's awful to say, but that is the reality.
So what is this place then? What do you seek to change
This is
with this?
it's about connecting the skills and the talents of local people to the opportunities.
124km 2시간 남았어.
It's celebrating what is in the city culture.
12시
It's recognising kids with sustainable culture.
축사가
So how this place, because you
지금
were
커버를 잡았지만
as a balance with the security scene.
Door entry technician.
Is that
door entry? I started working as a doorman when I was 19, and I remember at a very early age, 19 years old, quite young, watching the skinny gang members commanded such respect. And I remember then thinking, goodness, if you could bottle that respect, what could you not do on these tough estates?
why a chapel? This was a church.
Yeah, we went to Sunday school as youngsters. There was a huge group of kids on the estate that had Sunday. It was almost like an extension of school. We just had, we all went to Sunday school. And
유로파라는 이 낮은 마을 그림에
driving past this building, not come away from the church in its philosophy, not come away from the church as in this building. We did a lot of outdoor events. Drove past the building and it was an awful state. There was kids on the roof, there was kids on the ground, they were actively breaking the windows. And it was that emotion that's difficult to describe. It was anger, it was sadness, it was and stop the car, got out, shouted at the kids, and they were saying, what are you doing? That's what you're doing. 15, 20 or between the ages of say 12 and 15. Just actively destroying them. We'd gone past vandalism, just destroying the building. And I said to him, do you know how intimidating across the road to avoid you kids? One of them, the bigger fella at the back said, could you walk on your own around here? By yourself? And I thought, probably not actually. And that was a comment made by him instead.
저기 앞에서 트럭 지나간다.
So then the conversation took the wind out of themselves really, so come and see me tomorrow.
야 속도를 내라.
Now the next day,
싫어,
about 15 of them turned up in the office. Now this was a school day, these were all school-age kids. Obviously the attraction to what we were doing was great,
가장
attraction to go to school. And we went through different scenarios of what we could do. And I was saying, look, if you could bottle that into it, it's going back to the 19-year-old Dawn, that's looking at the skinny gang. It's just absolute respect, but using it for good.
See, the thing is, you are absolutely a chip off the old block, because the way you described this church being all run down with a hole in the floor, it sounds like a cocktail balls.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's a great training experience.
Coming back to the church physically brought you back to the church spiritually.
Yeah, that there was. I don't think the cord ever broke. I think it may have become thinner. It never broke. I don't think the cord was a cord. And probably also is where there's no vision of people. Very well, that's real. That's not just the quote at the Bible.
So, Greg, we're joined by Anthony.
우와.
Do you have a link to Copperdale? What's your story?
Story that used to live there. When Mum died when he was a young lad.
저
We had
녀석
nowhere to go
경주를
from
포기하고
my house.
오른쪽
So
빠지는
we went to
거
direct Texas. He just said, we found you a resident place. Come down to
혼자만의
go
싸움.
there and get an interview, see if you can get in there. I was about 21 at the time. 20.
You met this?
I met Greg. But the way I met Greg properly was I used to come
don't look any fitter. We've got another diner coming to join us, so should we get the table set? Do you want to put some hot plates out? I'll bring the Sheedover.
제네바랑
We've got Terry. Your name is
벨은?
Danny. You're one of the residents here, Danny. We've got Greg from the gym. You are Greg's daughter, Elizabeth. Followed by the younger daughter, Poppy.
개봉하러 갑시다.
Sharon, you're Greg's wife. And Louise, you are Glenn's other mom. And you are Glenn. Should we start eating? So we did the tofu off the couscous, and then you've got the vegetable sheet here. This is just yogurt, and the rest of that's quite okay. There have been a lot of success stories coming out of this place. Which ones stick in your mind?
Well, yeah, because very subdued and didn't really want to come here at all, but in the end he had no choices really. But after he'd been here a little while, I realised he couldn't read properly, and of course then he couldn't write properly. Because he was Irish, I thought, well, my family were all into voices, so that might suit him. He didn't want to do it, but you used to take him to the stables, didn't you? And when he made it around the stables, the language said that he had an excellent attitude with horses, and that he really should train and perhaps become professional.
Really?
Yeah, we took him to Newmarket, and luckily again, we went to Henry Cecil's stables.
Wow.
And he
Start at the top, why don't you?
we didn't know that. So he took him on even though it was against all the odds. The last time we saw him was at Christmas, we showed him Christmas then. And he was in a state-of-the-art mobility, and he's really,
Wow.
really made his life.
Sharon, there must be some souls that have been lost on the way, boys that perhaps didn't make it.
Yeah, many old people going to the doctor. Someone seems me to be so old
right there.
with life. There's no helping them.
I mean, it's interesting that Greg earlier was talking about how he never felt an issue about all these other boys being around because you've so much love to give. The downside about having so much love to give is when you give it and that person doesn't react the way that it doesn't turn out. You must carry with you some of those more tragic stories.
Yes, you do. And there's 2 or 3 boys that have been here that left and went on to mug people. And yet we have people that have mugged people coming here and completely reversing themselves.
왼쪽으로 가니까
very
오른쪽으로
impromptu
가야지.
get together like it almost a reunion not long ago. A lot of the ex-residents of Capital came to see us. It just felt like an extended family. It just felt like how you'd feel when you've not seen your auntie or one of your cousins for a while. And just, I think, why it works and why this place works incredibly well is it continually feels like an extended family.
And Terry, you've been doing this for best part of 4 decades. What keeps you going?
In a way, I'm motivated because I feel this is my vocation. So that one not
Just fancy a cruise down the Caribbean. A couple of weeks in Thailand. And also, I mean, you must have seen, because when you started doing this, it was just, it was, a different age. But the nature of problems young men face, they changed through the decades.
Yes, I think so. They'll actually say to us now, when years gone by, you could walk down the street and you wouldn't feel fearful, but now you don't walk down the street by yourself because there's so many different people that won't attack you, and they don't see a future as much as they used to do.
Glenn's mentioned he considering taking this place, so he might choose not to. Maybe he'll have to close down. But is that something you've considered?
Well, we've not really considered, but we always think that it's part of God's plan anyway. So we go along with that.
No pressure on you then, Glennie. I mean, Greg, you're involved in the
오케이, 자
gym.
여기서 또
You
끊어서
see no
갑시다.
option. You've got